Take a look at this illustration. On the left, we have the calm, confident state of demo trading. On the right, the sheer terror that often hits the moment you execute a live trade. That anxiety happens for a very specific reason. Demo trading is essentially playing a video game, but the second you switch to live trading, you are playing with real coins. Genuine financial stakes are introduced, and suddenly they trigger emotional responses you haven't had to deal with yet. Our objective here is to build a 4-step transition plan. This framework is designed to get you safely through day one without blowing up your account. Before we start, there is one absolute prerequisite. You must already have a rule-based trading methodology that you've proven works inside a simulator. Mastering this transition is not a test of your market analysis. It is purely a test of behaving consistently under a new level of psychological pressure. Step 1 is to calibrate your capital. For your first live trades, you have to set an ultra-low-risk threshold. Like learning to swim, you don't jump straight into the ocean where panic takes over. Start by stepping into the shallow water. This table breaks down what that shallow water looks like mathematically. We define it as a strict 1 to 2% risk of your total account balance per trade. Look at these columns. On a $5,000 account, you're risking $50 to $100. The physical metric for getting this size right is simple. The capital at risk must be small enough that losing it does not cause a stress response or keep you awake at night. By artificially capping your risk like this, fear stays low. When you inevitably make beginner mistakes, they remain cheap, educational experiences rather than catastrophic losses. Step 2 is to lock your strategy. You need to take the exact parameters that worked in your demo environment and transfer them into the live environment without changing a single variable. When real money is on the line and the market feels intimidating, you'll feel a strong instinct to modify your rules. You must resist. This flowchart maps out the structural components of a trading plan. Every single element must remain identical to your simulator setup. Pay specific attention to your entries, stops, and targets. These specific execution triggers are strictly non-negotiable. Think about how a professional chef operates. A chef does not completely rewrite a recipe just because one batch of food tastes slightly off. Taking an initial live loss does not mean your strategy is broken. It usually just exposes your untrained emotions. Your rigid, pre-planned rules are your only reliable anchor when the live market starts moving. Step 3 is the execution. Once your setup appears, place the trade, take your hands off the mouse, and let the position run to either your predefined stop or your target. This chart diagrams the cycle of market emotions, the psychological roller coaster that starts the second you deploy live capital. Watch how the feeling decays. You enter with thrill and optimism, but it drags you down into anxiety, fear, and eventually panic. When you are sitting in that panic phase, your brain will scream at you to intervene. Resisting that urge requires immense self-discipline and patience. In this exact moment, you are no longer testing the market's behavior. You are actively testing your own capacity to manage your emotions under pressure. Step 4 is the execution audit. Immediately after the position is closed, you need to perform a specific review of what just happened. For this review, you must completely ignore the financial outcome. The exact dollar amount you won or lost is completely irrelevant right now. Grade the trade with 3 questions. Did I enter where planned? Did I place the stop loss correctly? Did I follow my rules fully? It is identical to a student learning handwriting. The teacher doesn't grade the final paper. They grade whether the student used the correct strokes. You must focus purely on the mechanics of your execution. Flawless execution is the primary goal of the transition phase, because executing your plan correctly automatically builds good financial results over the long term. If you can answer yes to all 3 audit questions, your first live trade was a complete success, regardless of what the profit and loss statement says. This pyramid illustrates the path to disciplined trading. Executing our 4-step framework builds the psychological architecture you need for a long-term career. Rule-based methodologies at the foundation are the only reliable way to build confidence, and that confidence is what ultimately results in top-tier discipline. Here's your assignment. Execute your next 20 live trades using this exact transition plan, keeping your focus 100% on execution quality. Keep your risk microscopic and adhere strictly to your demo rules. Doing this removes emotion from the equation, and it guarantees you safe passage through the most dangerous phase of your trading journey.